Okay, so this is the next video in our continuation of our AWS series. And in this video, we will see one more service, that is the session manager. So why this, what is the use of this service and when we can use this service, we will see. So let's suppose you spin up one EC2 instance, right? So if you want to SSH into your EC2 instance, either you from local, that is from your command prompt, or either directly from the AWS console. So we can only SSH into that EC2 instance if the port 22 is opened, right? If we have no, that is the security group. If the security group has the port 22 open, then only we can SSH into our EC2 instance. But now question is, can we SSH into the EC2 instance without the port number 22? So the answer is yes, with the help of the session manager. Session manager is the facility which allow us to SSH into the EC2 instance securely using the help of the session manager. So this is the EC2 instance, right? Like we will spin up the one EC2 instance. We will not attach any security group. That is, we will attach the security group, but there is no port number 22. And now we will try to log in to the EC2, but we will not able to log in. Then we will try to log in with the session manager. So let's try. So first we need the EC2 instance. So let's try to spin up the EC2 instance. So go to the EC2 and launch the EC2 instance. So here we have a couple of AMIs. So to make this work, like to make this work, it is a mandatory that whatever the EC2 instance on which we are trying to log in using the session manager, that EC2 instance should have the SSM agent installed. So SSM agent is like, you can say, system manager or session manager, agent should be installed, right? So there are two options. Either you have to spin up one EC2 instance using any AMI, and then you have to install the SSM. I'm not sure how to install the SSM, but there is a one easy option. The option is, so we can use a couple of AMIs which is provided by the Amazon. So this is the Amazon Linux AMI, so Amazon Linux 2. So with this, like they provide the so if we spin up the EC2 instance using this AMI, Amazon Linux 2, so by default SSM agent is installed. So that's why we are going to use this AMI, and the other reason is it is a free tier. So let's select. So now we are using the free tier, so we will select the t2.micro. Okay, now so in this screen, so now if the user want to access the EC2 and EC2 doesn't have any port 22, and user want to access the EC2 using the session manager, so user should need some access to log in into the session manager or to run some queries into the session manager. So user should have to attach some Iem role. So here user is basically EC2 user. So we have to create an Iem role. So here is the Iem role. All right. So we can create a new Iem role. And so click on create role. So common use cases allow an AWS service like EC2 to perform action on this account. So this is EC2. Next. So we have to add the permission for the SSM. So enter. Now we have the couple of options. So we have to select this option, Amazon SSM managed instance core. So click on this, click next, give the name. So EC2 SSM role, create role. So it is creating the role. So creating so now role has been created. So if you go back and do refresh, so under the Iem role we could see EC2 SSM role. So now go to the storage. So leave the storage as it is. Now go to the tags. So add some tags. So name maybe EC2 SSM instance, owner. Okay, now security group. So what we don't want the port 22 attached to our EC2 instance, because if we can attach the port 22, then why we need the session manager? If we have to log in into the EC2, then we can directly log into the EC2, right? Because we have the port 22 attached. So we have to see the property of the session manager. So session manager only will be handy when there is no port 22 attached, and we want to log in into the EC2 and we want to execute some commands. So we are seeing this session manager as an hands-on. So we will not attach any port 22. So here is so create a new security group, and in the security group you could see by default port 22 is there, so we can delete it. Now we don't have any security group, so give it any name, maybe EC2 SSM security group, and maybe no SSH. All right, so there are no security group. There are no security group has no rules. So this security group has no rules. So review and launch. Now we don't need any key pair, so proceed without a key pair. We even don't want any security group. We want security group, but the security group should not have any rules. We don't want any key pair. So proceed without a key pair, launch instance. So instance will be loaded in a couple of minutes. So right now it is in pending state. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let's refresh it. So now it is up and running. So if you click on it, so we have the public IP address, copy it. So let's try without the session manager. So if I try to log in, so EC2 user @ and enter. So let's see whether I can log in into my EC2 instance or not. Even no port 22 is attached. So ideally I should not log in into the EC2 instance. I should get some connection refuge error, some SSH error, port 22 error. So let's see. Let's wait. So I am getting the error SSH connect to host. So it is unable to connect to host on port 22 and connection timeout. So this is our expected behavior, because if you click on security and if you go to the security group, so there are no inbound rules. Like we have not like open and like any rules, so no one can enter in my my EC2 instance. So what is the other option? So other option is we can connect here from here. So let's try to connect from here. We should get the error. So we are getting some error, like there are some issue, right? So let's close it, because even to connect from here, the port 22 should be like enabled. Okay. So what the next option? So next option is via the session manager. So if you go to the search bar and search the SSM, you could see two options. One is the system manager, and one is there could be like a session manager. But just open the system manager, because session manager is the part of the system manager. So open the system manager. All right. But first we see whether this service is free or we will have to pay. So go to the Google AWS free tier. And scroll down. And if you search for system manager and hit enter. Okay, nothing. Session. Yeah. So AWS systems manager, and it is a free tier and it is always free. And a couple of features are always free, and one of the feature is session manager. Session manager will always be free for us, so we can use the session manager, so we don't need to worry. So let's close it. So now this is the system manager, but we are looking at session manager. So session manager is the part of the system manager. All right. So if you like, there are a couple of options, like, so there is one option that is the fleet manager. If you click on the fleet manager, You could see our EC2 instance is up showing here. The reason is because I told you to access EC2 via session manager, the SSM agent should be installed on the EC2. And if any EC2 instance on which SSM agent is stored, it will be shown here under the fleet manager. So it is showing here. So SSM agent ping is active. So SSM agent version. So right, because SSM agent is installed. Why it is installed? Because we are using the AMI Amazon Linux, and on the Amazon Linux SSM agent by default come. So that's why we are able to see here. Okay, leave that. Now, if you scroll down, there is an option of a session manager. Either you can click here. If you click here, like a one service will be available, right? Or you can go from here, session manager. So session manager. So you can click from here. All right. So this is a session manager. So right now we don't have any session. So we have to start a session. So click on start a session. We are able to see one EC2 instance. So click on EC2 instance. So start the session. Now you could see I am inside the my SSH. So I can execute the command. So maybe like execute google.com. So you could see I am able to execute the command. So let's try a few more commands. Host name. I'm able to see the host name as well. So this is the same, like host name is the internal IP address of the EC2, 172.31.45.42. So let's cross verify. If you go to the EC2 and click on EC2. So private is 172.31.45 and 42, 45, 42. So 172.31.45, 42. So this is our IP address. So I am inside my particular instance ID, which is spin up like 412D4, 412D4. All right. So this is the usage of the session manager. We can securely enter into the EC2 instance using the session manager, even without any making any port open, like SSH port open. All right. So this is a small video. So let's exit it. So session has been terminated. So close, and let's delete our EC2 SSM role. So EC2 SSM role, you could be able to see here as well. So SSM. So Iem role, EC2 SSM role, has been attached. Okay, so let's delete that because we don't need anymore. Let's delete it. So role has been deleted. It's deleting the role, and it has been deleted. Now we can terminate our EC2 instance. So instance state, terminate instance. So we are terminating it. So after terminating it, we will delete the security group. Even though with the security group, nothing is being attached, no inbound rule. So we can delete it. Delete security group. Okay, so it is waiting for our EC2 instance to properly get terminated. So once, because it is now shutting down, it is not getting terminated. So now it is terminated. So if you go to the security group and cancel it, refresh, and now you can delete it. Delete. It is still there. Will be terminated. One network interface. There is no network interface. There sometimes it takes some time because but anyhow we can easily able to delete it. That's not an issue. Sometimes it took some time. You go to our EC2 instances, it is properly terminated. delete the network intersection with the different security group, and there are no network interface attached. Strange. Sometimes it took time. So anyhow, we were like, I will delete it later. Even you will not delete it. That's not an issue because it is not like occurring you any cost. All right. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you.